Henriksen. Then we have someone named Linda Hamilton. We also have someone named Robert Patrick. Michael Bean. I don't think Edward is making the panel, so it might just be us. I was going to say, if the three of you take that couch, I'm going to switch to that.
That was easy.
Wait, Robert, do you want to sit on the couch?
Come on.
Sit on the
I'll
couch.
stand the entire time.
I'm going to switch to, actually, you know, I'll stay. I'll be next to you. I was going to switch to the better chair, but, you know. How are you guys doing?
I knew that Michael wanted to sit next to Linda.
How are you doing? That's the question.
I'm doing fantastic. Are you kidding me? I'm moderating a Terminator panel at Fan Expo. Things are fucking fantastic. For real.
Typhoid Eddie sends his regards.
I definitely have to start. I was waiting for Robert. Are you guys good? Calling.
Are they with us?
Yeah. So I have a ton of questions for you guys, but we're also going to open it up to the audience. In a few minutes, you guys have. I'm going to start with a silly question, but you have obviously signed a lot of autographs before. What is the coolest or the weirdest Terminator-related thing you've signed?
A breast. Not here, somewhere else. It's true. Of course.
I can't beat that one.
Cool question.
I'm trying to come up with
no
something
answer
that tops
for it.
breast, but
Okay, we can move on.
let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Screwed it for everybody.
You know, at this point, listen, everyone in this room is a fan of the Terminator movies, and we know Wikipedia.
But they won't be after this panel.
I'm curious, what do you think might surprise people to learn about making the Terminator movies?
Jim Cameron.
Anything specifically?
I don't remember.
What might surprise people?
I just want to be honest.
Oh, we shot it on film.
That's true, though. I mean, there was no digital in '84 or in '91. It was all on film.
I've turned older.
Actually, Jim Cameron had no idea what he was doing, and all of us had to kind of like band together to help Jim Cameron. I'm just kind of joking there.
Well, what? He needed a lot of support. I remember that.
No, that's true.
Michael's right. Actually, Michael's very right.
I felt obligated to take care of Jim, that he didn't screw up.
I directed my own scenes.
That's the headline that's online. Linda Hamilton directed her own scenes in the Terminator. Being completely serious, the original Terminator is now 40. Terminator 2 is 33, I think around 33 or 34, and they still resonate with so many people. For each of you, what is it about these films that has stood the test of time that causes people here to want to talk about it and reminisce?
They could tell us better than we could tell them.
What do you think it is?
Me? Jim was younger. He was a young sprout. You know. We needed each other, that's what happened.
I think the themes of sort of every man, every woman sort of being caught up in an extraordinary set of circumstances and then having to rise to the occasion and live an unexpected life is something that's kind of thrilling today as much as it was back then. Right? Like, just, I mean, the effects and all of that were incredible, but it has to be more than that, because the effects after a while will be blown out of the water by today's effects. But really, just the theme of a normal woman, because it's all about me, rising to the occasion is something that just thematically appeals to people.
A lot of people won't realize, please, if you, okay. A lot of people won't realize when the Terminator was being made back in '83, I guess, or beginning of '84, I'm not 100% sure, like the studio didn't fully believe in the film. It was, you know, what is this movie? When did, like, the three of you realize, oh wait, we might be making something special here?
I can speak first. I only realized that we were doing something good when I saw the movie. It wasn't during the filming of the movie. I mean, if you've done enough work, you understand that a lot of stuff can feel really good and feel really right, but then you see it when it's all assembled and it sucks. Just like whatever you felt or thought you were feeling didn't necessarily work, or they didn't capture it. And I mean, it doesn't stop us from working hard to bring every single moment to life, but really the only time that I really was like, oh my God, was when I saw it.
And people have a tendency to believe and think that when the movie came out, it was this gigantic hit. And I think Jim and Gail made it for $6 million and it made 40 here in America. It was not in the top 25 movies, or no, it came in 23rd in box office in 1984. And Ghostbusters and Karate Kid, there were a lot of movies that were big hits. The Terminator wasn't one of them. And the idea that and we all believed in it. We had some skin in the game, but people, it's the same thing that happened with me with Tombstone. People don't get it immediately. And over the years, things just are, you know, I don't want to quote, kind of unstoppable. You just, you know, that's just what happens. But it was not, when that movie came out, nobody was, Arnold went on to do Predator, but nobody was like, hey, Michael, we want you to, you know, you're the star of this big hit movie. We want you to be in this movie. We want you to be, it just didn't happen. You know, I went on to work with Jim and Aliens, but it might surprise you, but it was not a huge hit.
Slow burn. It was a slow burn.
Slow burn, that's right. But then when T2 came out, that was Katie barred to the door. Probably because of this one.
This is a question at all four of you. When you think back on the first Terminator and Terminator 2, what shot or sequence for each of you was the one that really was a pain in the ass, or one that you'll always remember, whether it be because it's a oneer, the camera moves, the dialogue, whatever it was?
Schwarzenegger getting naked. What is this, a porno flick? Wise ass.
It's a fantastic answer.
But then another guy came down and got naked. I thought, are but they're not gonna make us get naked because we're already here.
I think I'll take over from there. You know what? They were all damn hard. It wasn't like there was just like, oh, I think it actually is the first time, and I recognized it as such, that I learned to live in the moment. Because like we were in the steel factory doing all the end sequence, the steel factory, which was really like a fruit juice factory, fruit juice, sticky, horrible fruit juice running along the floors, and it was really cold. Even though we made it look like it was super hot. It was freezing. Remember how cold it was? It was just unseasonable, and I mean just ridiculously cold. And so everyone wanted to get out of the steel mill. I'm mixing up my stories. The steel mill, the second one, was not a fruit factory, forget it. It was a steel mill and it was freezing. And I just remember that everybody wanted to get out. And I just thought, I get the mental hospital to look forward to. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I did not dream of being elsewhere any day at all. It was like I just lived in the moment because every day was equally hard for me and my character. So.
Michael, Robert?
I don't know, I was just having fun listening to you guys.
Well, when you think back on the shoot for you, for Terminator 2, what scene or sequence ended up being like the toughest one to shoot and why?
Well, there was some interesting challenges to do the CGI. Walking out of the fire sequence was kind of difficult. You were presented with a certain amount of problems as an actor, like the consistency of the walk had to match what they were trying to do on the computer, and they couldn't figure out exactly how that was going to work. So it was all this, it was kind of hypothetical, but it was actually real, and everybody was trying to articulate what the fuck we were doing. And I'm listening to everybody, and I'm confused, and it was pretty nutty day that day. Dennis Muren, James Cameron, Mark Dupay, Steve Spaz Williams, they were all down in that what is that, a canal? The LA Canal. It was the LA Canal in the river. Yeah, so where the tow truck exploded. That was a very challenging day, very complex day. And that was the day that I kind of, that James actually said to me, hey man, you gotta relax because we're making movie history here, and we don't know what's gonna be great, and, just be patient, and suck it up, buttercup, basically, because you kind of get like, oh fuck, I don't know what I'm doing, I've never done this. No one's done it, it's that kind of thing.
Sometimes, usually making films are a lot of waiting around, and especially when you're dealing with special effects makeup or special effects. One of the shots that I remember that both Linda and I were in, and Arnold was in, was a shot where Arnold jumps on the front of our car and he smashes his hand through the window and he grabs Linda in the alleyway. And that shot took like all morning to set. I mean, it was not really his fist. There was a whole thing going on. He was on fire. So the car wasn't moving, but Jim had the background on wheels. So the background was moving, making it look like the car was going backwards, even though, and it took us so long to set up that shot. Everything had to go right as far as them blowing the window right when his fist went through, and it wasn't really his fist, it was something else, and then his fist comes in and grabs Linda. And I think a lot of times for most actors, we just want to do our thing. We just want to get to the acting part, and there's a lot of especially when you're working on a film like Terminator, like Aliens, like The Abyss, or T2. There's a lot of waiting, and that sequence that took us so long to set up, at least half a day it felt like to me, with the background moving, is like when you watch the movie and you watch his fish go through, it's like you can't even see, it's maybe less than 2 seconds. And so things can be it's not boring because it's interesting to watch, but things can move a lot slower than you would expect them to.
I've been lucky enough to be on some TV and movie sets, and the one thing that I've always taken away from it is I get bored. Like you think it would be all glamorous, but watching the same scene being shot 20 different ways, you know what I mean?
What we all, I'm sure all of us have all had family members and friends. Oh, I want to come down to visit the set. We want to visit the set. You know, come down, they watch for an hour, and they're like, I think we're going to take off. We've seen this 6 times. We don't want to see it 6 more times. That happens happened quite often to me anyway.
One of the things this film obviously deals with is AI, and everyone's talking about AI right now. Do you think the people that are programming AI in the real world have watched the Terminator movies, and what do we need to do to make sure they do?
Let me say something about AI, and that is that Elon Musk retweeted something that I saw about 6 months ago, I think, and it was me talking to Sarah Connor in the car, and I'm telling her this is going to happen, and Terminator, and future, and Sarah Connor says to Kyle Reese, that can't happen. And Kyle Reese says, no, not for about 40 years. That was in 1984. It's now 2004. It's 40 years later, and look at AI. I don't know if
I took a tour of SpaceX, and I was being walked through there, and I went by their computer room, you know, the server room, whatever you call it. It was behind blue glass, and it was, you know, like from here to the end of that back there. But I noticed down front there was something that I recognized, and it was a sign from T2, and it was Cyberdyne Systems. And I literally said to somebody, I said, so, and they went, oh yeah, he's a fan. And I went, wow. So I mean, the Elon is definitely an individual that has watched Terminator and all the Terminators, you know, after. But I think he gets it, and I think Jim obviously was on to something. I know when T2 came out, a lot of actors were nervous about, you know, acting has changed now because there's motion capture. It was created on T2. So I remember that when I was personally I felt slightly insulted by that. Like, actors need to beware, you know, it's like, well, what the fuck, I am an actor. You know, I had a hand in motion capture, sure, but, you know, what does that mean?
I mean, the amount of technology that was invented on T2 that paved the way for so many things. That movie was also responsible for ILM thinking that they could do, you know, CGI dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. Like it.
Yeah, that's Steve Spaz-Williams. Well, that, you know, earlier when you were talking about why are the movies around, I think it's because they blend all that. They were the first. They had practical stunts, physical stunts, Stan Winston, ILM, Industrial Light Magic, CGI effects, all that stuff. It's all in those movies as opposed to just being total fucking CGI. And it makes it much more interesting. CGI. Fucking but I mean, that's the reality. I think that's why those movies resonate and why they're still relevant today is because they have all those aspects of filmmaking involved with them, not just leaning on one particular.
Not the Terminator.
Which one? Oh, Terminator?
Terminator 1 had none of that shit.
No,
you're
it
talking
didn't. It
about.
didn't have. No, but it did have practical stunts.
It had practical
It had
effects.
Stan Winston.
Well,
It had physical stunts.
yeah.
The only thing you didn't have was CGI.
Well, correct.
But that's what I'm saying. It's still.
I know what you're saying.
I don't know. What are you trying to do? What, dance me into a foxhole here? Come out and say what you want to say, man.
I did.
What did you say?
I didn't. We didn't have CGI for.
Move over. Do you know how many times I had to do this on the movie?
I love you, buddy.
They were.
I was going to say that this weekend the new Alien movie came out, and two of our panelists have a little history with Alien. And one of the reasons the new Alien movie is so good is because it uses a lot of miniatures, practical, and little CGI, which is what T2. Anyway, we're off on a thing. Linda, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure I read this so I say it right. Many consider Sarah Connor as one of the greatest and most influential cinematic female action heroes of all time. And she has stood the test of time. People love this character. What does it mean to you to have portrayed this role and have influenced countless of people around the planet?
Was certainly not my intention. It feels good. I have been handed that title a few times. It's just absolutely not at all what you never know, because the first one was a slow burn too, and I don't think any of us looked at that and said this is going to be like. Whew. So you don't know where a movie role is going to lead you 7 years later, but I'll take the mantle that people have put on me, and I'd be very grateful for it. I do think that one of the real hallmarks of that character is Jim wanted me to cut my hair when I'm getting out of the mental hospital, when I'm going to do battle. And it wasn't even a vanity particularly, like soldiers don't have hair that you can grab on, it's a weakness. So that's why they do that in those movies, so all women cut their hair. And I just thought, why not throw it back in a ponytail and I think it was the fact that she remained feminine and was able to kick ass. Do you know what I mean? One of the first characters that doesn't have to look like a guy to be strong. And so I think it was that lucky sort of bit of me I don't even think it was a vanity. I just said, I don't think that we really need this. Let's just throw it in a ponytail and move on. And I think it was that gave her the sort of the global appeal. So, it's an accident of timing too. The world is ready to see a strong woman. So, I don't really take a lot of credit for it. I think it was, an accident of timing. I do my work, I do my job, but the world was ready. It wasn't me.
I think you had something to do with it.
Okay, it was 2% me.
I'm going to raise that percentage, but anyway, I know that the audience has questions, and so I think there's a microphone. I'm not sure where it is. It's there. I think it's there, or maybe, yeah, it's there. I should have set that up sooner. Yes. We need to turn the mic on. You want to try now?
There's nobody back there.
I swear someone's standing there.
Let's turn the house lights up. Let's see how thin it is out there. Come on. We can handle it.
Is it working or no? Well, I'll repeat your question. What's your question?
My question's for, there we go. My question's for Michael.
Michael. I'm going to get their attention. Hey, Hey guys, we have some people in the audience that are asking you
Oh,
a
hey,
question.
sorry, we were just
Michael.
having a conversation.
So my question's for Michael. I love Tombstone. It's my favorite Western. It's a beautifully done film and you're fantastic in it. Especially with scenes with Val Kilmer. I was just wondering if you'd talk a little bit about what it was like to work on that film and to make it.
Are you asking me what it was like to work on Tombstone?
Yes.
Tombstone was an incredibly good script. That's why you have a cast that is just phenomenal. Everybody in that movie is very, very good in it. It was a great script. It was a problem production because the person who wrote the script is named Kevin Jarre. And Kevin was a great writer. He wrote a movie called Lloyd. It was Zwick directed, and he's just a great. And this was his directorial debut. I don't think that Kevin quite understood how collaborative movie making was, and he saw it really one way. And he had Kurt, and he had Sam, and we had an Academy Award-winning DP, and he wanted to do it a certain way, but he got fired 4 weeks into shooting, and so they had to tear that script apart and kind of put it back together. So it really didn't have anything to do. I mean, I lost some sequences in the movie, but I didn't really care. It was a little bit of a mess, but like I said before about the Terminator, when Tombstone came out, nobody gave a fuck about it. It didn't get good reviews. The New York Times hated it. The LA Times hated it. Val didn't get nominated. It didn't make any money. Maybe it made money overseas, but it was not a big hit at all. I've looked this up recently too. In that year, box office wise, it came in like 60th or something like that. Over a period of like 30 years now, a little over 30 years, that movie, like a fine wine, has gotten better and better and better. And now, so now, and I've heard Kurt talk about how proud he is of it. You don't, at least I don't know about any movie that I've done before. The Terminator being one of them. Aliens kind of came out, we knew that Aliens was a really good and fun movie. But a lot of times, things that are considered classics now, nobody thought that about the Terminator. Nobody thought Arnold was going to be a movie star. Nobody thought Arnold was going to be a movie star. Maybe Arnold did. Arnold probably did, and maybe Jim thought he was. When I was doing the Terminator, by the time you were doing T2, it was a different story. But so it's hard to predict any kind of thing. And with Tombstone. Again, I'm like just a part of something that it turned into something really special. People love the movie, and Johnny Ringo was a lot of fun to play. So that's really what I have to say about Tombstone. Thanks for asking about it.
Thank you.
And our next question.
I think it's.
Is there more?
Okay,
Oh, yeah, sorry. Over here.
We'll bounce back and forth.
I know this is a panel for Terminator, but what was one of the other roles in any other films that you did that you loved doing?
Is that for everyone?
Yes, for everybody.
Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question? Would you like me to repeat it?
What's your favorite movie? All three of them.
Hold the mic up too.
I think aliens.
Aliens.
You want?
Said Aliens.
I said aliens. My favorite. I mean, it was a pretty polished movie. It really was. I like some of your movies better than mine. You know. So That's my answer.
Is there another, did you guys hear the question?
We did. I did.
Yes. That was-
I had a really good time at Dante's Peak. That was some dirty work. I tell you, just the soot and the lava and the ash, you know. We destroyed a town. I don't know how many years it's been, but I know that town is still not clean. Wallace, Idaho, man. But yeah, Dante's Peak was fun. Loved the Terminator movies. You know, as lazy as this sounds, it's like every job I do is my favorite. Like that's how I work. Just every role that I play is my favorite. Just they all get equal attention, and so all of them.
Awesome, thank you.
Over here.
Kind of a Terminator question, maybe more aliens, but I was wondering what was it like working with Bill Paxton?
What was it like working with Bill Paxton?
He became a good friend. I mean, he was, when we did Near Dark, and every time I worked around Bill, I really was happy. You know, I mean, it was always about the work and never about anything else. You know, I mean, it was really good. It felt great. And he was talented, and, you know, I really miss him. I really miss that he's not on this earth.
I miss him too. I did 5 movies with Bill.
Oh, wow.
We did a movie, the first movie we did was Lords of Discipline, which was directed by Frank Rodham. It was about the first black cadet at the Citadel, which is a military school in the South, based on a Pat Conroy novel. And that's where I met Bill, and Bill was very new, very fresh, and his billing in the movie, starring so-and-so and so-and-so. When it got to him, it was Wild Bill Paxton. That's how he was billed in the movie. And Bill was when he came into a room, you knew he was in the room. He was loud and
Never stopped talking. Ever.
To me, he was fun, he was energetic, he knew films very well. He knew Jim, because he was working at Roger Corman's company with Jim. He knew films, he was fun. To me, he was like the character in Aliens without the coward part. Just big and funny, worked hard, played hard. We had great times. Boy, I can tell you, we had some wildness that went on over in England, and then, so I did Lords of Discipline with him, Terminator. Then we did Aliens together, and then we did this movie Navy SEALs, which was a mess, and then he was in Tombstone. And we didn't really pay attention to each other when we were doing Tombstone. But yeah, he was, for me, he was a lot of fun, and always liked his energy. Just bigger than life, and very talented as a filmmaker. He was acted in One False Move. I forget the name of the movie he directed. Maybe one of you might know it. Frailty. It really, yeah. Thank you. Very good movie. Good filmmaker, and I miss him too.
Thank you for the question. Over here.
A big part of Terminator 2 is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator learning to value humanity. Whereas the T-1000 starts the movie, everything's efficient, even polite to people. Yet by the end, he's not pushing the helicopter pilot out, he's intimidating the helicopter pilot out. Am I reading into it, or was that purposeful that the T-1000 was slowly learning to enjoy hurting people?
I have no idea. It's much deeper than I ever got in the script. I mean, was I supposed to think of that? I certainly did not.
Thank you for the question. Let's go over here.
Hi there, everybody. It's such an honor to see you guys. I flew out from Florida just as soon as they announced you guys. But for Linda, thank you so much for joining cast of Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to it. As for my question, earlier you were mentioning the alley scene behind Tech Noir. I can watch that scene a million times and never get tired of it. How much fun was it for the first Terminator doing the Tech Noir scene?
Way fun. I mean, you know, how many times did I fall off that chair onto my butt? Falling off that chair in fear. You know, what I remember from that is that the laser light that was pointed at my head was going to sever my eyeballs if I actually looked into the light. I mean, it was in the day of like, you know, it wasn't just laser light, it was the laser light that slices through your eyeball if you actually look at it. So, I mean, half that scene is me trying not to look into the red light. When Arnold, you know, lasers my forehead, I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look. You know, different days. But, yeah, just as much fun as the rest of it.
And for you, Reese? Thank you so much.
It
That
was
was amazing.
every young boy, every young boy's dream to halfway through that sequence kind of come out of nowhere with that shotgun and just shoot and rack and shoot and rack and blow him out the window. I mean, it just doesn't get any more macho, it doesn't get any more cool, it doesn't get any, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. It just is like that probably is, when I watch all the movies that I've done, I have certain things in different movies that I've done that are acting choices that I made, and that wasn't any choice, it was just written, but it just doesn't get any more fun than that. Whether I'm playing in my backyard at 12 with my little brother, you know, it was a wonderful, wonderful moment for me, that shot of me shooting the shotgun and re-racking and blowing him out the window. Just so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. We're actually running out of time, so what I'd like to do, if possible, because I see how many people are waiting to ask a question, to do sort of like lightning round, where people can ask questions and give quick answers, so we can try to get through some people. Let's start over here.
I'm the first lightning round? Okay.
I apologize.
A huge fan of the franchise, all the movies, even TV shows, video games, stuff like that. I'm not trying to ask you a loaded question, but have you all watched any of the films or material after T2, and what do you feel about them?
I didn't watch them, and so I don't really have an answer for that one myself.
I think I watched the next two, and then I gave up. Just, you know, they just did not.
It's hard to follow Jim Cameron.
Yeah, and they just did not resonate or have the emotional impact or whatever. You just didn't care about the characters like you do in a Jim Cameron film.
So, if you don't mind, a follow-up question about Dark Fate. How did you feel about reprising Sarah Connor after so long? Because I got chills, personally.
It was scary. I mean, I kind of liked the idea that I was so much older. So I thought that was something really fun to explore. That here is, you know, this iconic character all these years later. And so I really did want to explore that. I didn't know what else I had to say as the character, but I liked the concept, and I just thought, might be fun to go back and what if, I wanted to create some difference, like this shocking difference between Sarah in the first one, Sarah in the second one. And so for this one, I was like, what if she's fat? Really, really fat. That would be like such a nice surprise for the audience. Like they never saw that one coming. But I probably have never done a film where I was that invested. I mean, I'm always invested. I'm invested in my acting, but like the outcome, I usually don't care about. Like I just do my best work and let it go. But this one, I guess because it is kind of the bookmarks of a career, and I know this is supposed to be lightning round, but it was, because it was my book, way too late for that, bookmarks to my career, and I really cared about how it came out, and I was not actually the most pleasant person in the world, which I usually am, but just like guarding my character. Do you know what I mean? And something would be written and I'd go like, no. They'd say, well, just say it because it would be like, no. The character won't say that, not saying that. So it was an interesting time in my life to really just, because I felt like I really had to stand up for Sarah Connor.
This might be our last question, depending on timing.
Hi, this question is for Lance. Lance, you gave it a really amazing villain performance in the movie Hard Target. I'm just wondering if you have any stories to share about that, considering like all the characters like Van Damme and Vosloo and John Woo that are working on it.
No, not a thing. No. Hard Target was, again, it's an action movie, and it's, I like the people around me, and so it was good. I'm really short-winded when it comes to memories. But I mean, I do remember I felt pretty good doing the movie because I played a guy who's absolutely has no regard for life. So I thought that was pretty close to me. Thank you for asking.
I apologize, but we do have to stop. I'm just going to say that all of these great panelists are downstairs, and there are the ways to get pictures and autographs, and it's all downstairs. And I really want to thank everyone for coming out today for the Terminator panel, and to our awesome panelists. Thank you so much for attending. Everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.